This is a discussion of law that's being videotaped here at the Center for Advanced Legal Studies in Houston, Texas. My name is Tom Swanson. I've been a licensed Texas attorney for over 35 years, and I also teach the law. The topic I want to get into today has to do with recurring problems that challenge authority. And I'm going to talk about one of those, but I'll give you an example of two of them. DWI. It seems like, no matter what penalties are put up there, no matter what goes on, it seems to be a recurring problem. The other one is the one I'm going to talk about today, and that is family violence. And first of all, what is family violence? Well, remember this. All criminal laws define their terms in statutes. So all criminal law is statutory. So it could vary from state to state. Typically, family violence extends to, of course, spouses. It extends to children. It extends to people who are in a relationship, what they can call it a dating relationship or a non-marital but committed relationship. It can even apply as between roommates, depending upon the statute. So it could be, if it's your mother, father, brother, sister, spouse, a child, it can just vary, but you get the idea. Now, why is family violence given a special classification? Because it is one of those almost insoluble problems in which the government keeps trying to find ways to deter the conduct. They're hoping to get the right recipe in the process of the criminal justice system to significantly lower family violence. So basically in Texas, family violence is a very serious conviction to get because the court makes a finding of family violence. And so that goes on your record. It can affect your access to, it can affect your right to bear arms. It can affect your access to your children. It can affect your access to your residence, that sort of thing. So they're trying to find the right formula to get this to stop. Now, a great deal of family violence is between men and women in relationships. Whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or whether it's a non-marital committed relationship or a marital relationship, this forms an awful lot of the family violence cases. And in Texas, they basically have classifications. I'll give you the basic ones. That it's normally a Class A misdemeanor. And a Class A misdemeanor is an offense in Texas for which, if convicted, you could be sentenced to the county jail for at least 1 year and fined $4,000. Now, there's a second situation that's common, and that is where choking is involved. They call it, I think, in the statutes, neck compression or whatever, but you get the idea. Grabbing the person by the neck, that sort of thing, elevates the charge to a felony. And of course, a felony is a serious crime. And a person convicted of a felony can lose constitutional rights such as the right to vote, the right to bear arms, and that sort of thing. So it's serious business. And you could also go to prison. So at any rate, it brings up the point. It's great to have these laws, but what do you do if you're a victim of family violence? Well, the first order of business is to call the police, to call 911 and tell them that you're being physically abused, and if you can, try to get away. The police they have their own special instructions upon responding to these things. Typically, if they see evidence of physical injury, they're going to arrest the person that's accused, and then they'll have to deal with the criminal justice system. There's another process that can occur, though, and that is what they call a protective order. And this is a powerful tool in Texas. It's usually handled in the context of family law, but basically it permits the court to order restrictions on access to the family violence victim, can order that they not go to the victim's place of work, not contact them, et cetera, et cetera. If they have children with the person, they can also restrict the access of the accused to their children. Okay, and this can be up to 2 years. And typically, what they do is the judge who issues the protective order basically makes requirements upon the accused, and for example, well, you're going to have to pay this fee, and you're going to have to do these things. You're going to have to go to anger management. You have all these restrictions on access. One great thing in Texas is that there is no filing fees for the victim. The victim can go ahead and get it on file and go through the process without being charged any of the court fees. Rather, those fees will ultimately probably be assessed against the accused. If the person violates these court orders, the judge can have the person arrested. In some instances, there are criminal charges for violating these protective orders. So the point is that basically there is a supervisory judge now that's going to monitor this person's conduct, going to keep them on a very short leash, and will take an extraordinary action if they ignore these protective orders. So it's a very good thing. In the criminal context, when the person's in a criminal court, typically a condition of bail will be that they have no contact with the victim, or sometimes a lesser situation where they can't contact them or go to their place of work or residence for approximately 90 days. If that rule is violated, what will happen is the person's bail will be revoked typically, and they'll be remanded to custody. And if they get out again, it'll be on a much higher bail. Okay, so remember, bail is typically defined as a pledge of money or property to ensure one's appearance at trial. Well, that's all fine and good, but there's still the issue of protecting the community. So judges are permitted to issue conditions of bail. And in family violence cases, the judge has a great deal of discretion about what sorts of conditions to issue as a condition of bail. You violate that condition, you get taken into custody, and you wait out your trial time in jail unless you can convince a judge to let you back out, which will be higher bail if that's the case. There is a group called AVDA, okay, AVDA. AVDA provides legal assistance to victims of family violence. Oftentimes, if the victim is financially limited, AVDA will have one of its lawyers represent the person in bringing a protective order or representing them in a divorce case, whatever it is that's relevant to that. So there's that type of help. Most cities have an AVDA situation, and there are some counties that will appoint attorneys to help these victims of family violence. So there is help out there. Typically, the police are supposed to give the family violence victim a written information explaining what the person can do. The main thing is you got to cooperate with the process. One of the challenges that the criminal justice system faces is where you have someone who's a victim of family violence, and then they're turning around and they're bailing the person that assaulted them out of jail, or they're asked to forgive the person, and they go ahead and do that. Basically, you've got to cooperate with the system. They're not saying that the parties can't get back together again, but they want to make sure the problems are solved, and they can do this through what they call community supervision, which is probation. They can do it as a condition, even with anger management, to where they have to go to classes and gain an appreciation of what it is to harm a member of your family, and these courses can be somewhat long, and you've got to pay for them. So the thing is that if you're the victim, remember you're going to be the witness in the trial, and you're not just permitted to say, I don't want to prosecute the person. Once there has been established probable cause that a crime's been committed, this belongs to the district attorney. The prosecutor is in charge of who is charged, and typically how the charges are disposed of. In other words, if you may want the charge dismissed against the person who assaulted you, and the prosecutor can say, no, we're not going to do it. And we're going to subpoena you to trial, and you are going to testify. Okay. Finally, I want to mention that certainly in some of your larger cities like Houston, they have a specialty group of prosecutors that deal with family violence cases. So they have a division called the FCLD, and these are lawyers. Their focus is on family violence. So there is help out there, but the key is that the victim must cooperate with the authorities, otherwise, they can't do what they need to do to try to solve this very difficult problem. I hope this helps you. And once again, if you're a victim of family violence, you shouldn't allow it to continue. You need to contact the authorities and get this into the system so the person understands that it's not going to be tolerated. Thank you very much.